Cosmic's coming back this year. I'm so excited.
Rivers of America are going to be opening up.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be great if we actually knew of a Disney historian that knew all about the Rivers of America and the history of Disneyland?
Yes, it would be
I
great.
think it would be awesome.
Hey, Katie.
Oh my gosh, it's Disney Project Keith Gluck.
Hi.
Keith, you're from San Francisco. Do you have anything to do with like maybe the Walt Disney Family Museum up there?
I do, yes. I've been volunteering there for a few years, and I write for their blog. And I'm there quite a lot, giving my friends little friendly tours of the different galleries.
Aren't you going to be coming out with a book soon?
Well, yes. I'm glad you said that.
All about Disney history?
It's more about Disneyland, and soon, we should say soonish, because I'm still working on it. But I hope to be done with the first draft maybe by the end of this summer. And then
Oh
we'll see how
my
that
goodness.
happens.
I'm excited. So you obviously know so much about the history of Disneyland. Would you care to share it all with us?
Well, maybe not all of it, but
All
I
of
can
it?
certainly talk
Every
about some
bit
of
of
it.
it.
I know
Every bit of it.
I know a decent amount.
Okay.
But you guys were talking about, what, the Rivers of America?
Yes, we're
Mark
so
Twain?
excited. Fantasmic's coming back.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to ride on the Mark Twain, the Columbia again. But we've just always wondered, is there a lot of history to do with this? I mean, it was open.
Like, for instance, we've always wondered, is Tom Sawyer's Island always been Tom Sawyer's Island? Was it always open when the park opened?
So, yes, Tom Sawyer Island, when the park first opened, Tom Sawyer Island was there. However, it was not accessible to guests.
Oh.
So the park opened, as you know, in July 17th, 1955. The island was there, you could see it, but guests weren't allowed on there because it wasn't completed, and it actually didn't open until the following summer of 1956. The island actually went through a couple of theme changes before they actually called it Tom Sawyer Island. The original name for the island was going to be Mickey Mouse Island.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be so weird. I couldn't even picture that.
That is
Yeah,
weird.
I think they're going to have like Mickey Mouse Club episodes filmed on there or something.
How cool.
But that was a really that was more along the lines of just an idea. So another concept they had was Treasure Island, because you know they were filming the live action film.
True.
Then they ultimately ended up going with Tom Sawyer Island, and yeah, like I said, it opened the following summer, so guests could actually access the island and see all the cool stuff on it.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Didn't we have a question about the river itself? Something about like the color of the water?
The water is kind of murky.
Yeah, that was our question. It was like, it's always seemed like it's like, I wonder why is it not clear and blue?
Well, they have tracks under there. A lot of the people think that well, I guess some people might think that the watercraft travel freely.
I thought they did.
There are a couple actually that do float freely. One of them is the canoes, the Davy Crockett canoes. There is a small section where they're on a track, but then once they get off that track, they basically are free floating.
What?
Another watercraft that floats freely are in fact the rafts that take you to Tom Sawyer. But the Mark Twain steamboat and the Columbia sailing ship, they both travel actually on the same track.
Wow, that's interesting. We need to know some facts about the Mark Twain.
One really cool thing about the Mark Twain is it had its maiden voyage before Disneyland even opened.
What?
The park opened on the 17th, like I said, of July. It had its maiden voyage on July 13th because they used it to celebrate Walt and Lillian's 30th wedding anniversary.
I remember you telling me
That's
about
right, we talked about that in the scope. And so yeah, they had it set up, and then guests were arriving, and they arrived on Main Street, and they were brought up Main Street in horse-drawn carriages. And moments before they arrived, Walt's wife Lillian realized that the decks of the Mark Twain were a little dirty. She's like, "We gotta sweep these up. These are filthy." So her and Admiral Joel Fowler, who was the head of construction for Disneyland, grabbed some brooms.
I know that name, who Fowler is.
Where can you find a Fowler thing here in Disneyland?
Fowler's Harbor, right there.
Right over there.
I
of
knew
course,
that.
named after Joel
Back.
Fowler.
Yes.
Right back there.
Right back there. That's where it was. And I caught that name and I said, Keith, I said, where is that name? That sounds familiar. We have a Fowler's Harbor here.
That's right.
And
you
he
got it.
said, that is why. Back to your story.
So yeah, they swept up the deck moments before the guests arrived, and yeah, the Mark Twain took its main voyage around. Walt and Lillian as their guests, and they enjoyed mint juleps. You actually were able to purchase mint juleps at one time on the Mark Twain.
What?
Yeah, I'm kind of sad they don't do that anymore.
Oh,
Yeah, and they used to have live music on there. If I'm not mistaken, Louis Armstrong performed on the Mark Twain.
what?
Like, these are like legends of jazz would play music
Oh my
on the boat.
gosh, we should go check out the Mark Twain.
Probably should.
If only we could get there quickly.
Do you know a way we can get there like super fast? Because I don't want to do all that walking.
Let me tell you what.
Okay.
I actually do this thing here.
Yeah.
It's like magic, but it's like Katy Bear. It's
Alright.
like all this crazy stuff. All I do,
Yes.
just hang on tight. Here we go. Hang on
yeah,
to the
this is
back.
kinda
There we go.
scary
Ready?
if it's
Here
your
we
first
go.
time.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa!
You're welcome. Whoa. Where did
job.
you guys come from? We actually came from there.
Yeah, we're over there.
That's the only way to travel. I'm used to it.
What's up, Blanca? Hey, what's going on,
Oh,
guys?
here we go with Blanca.
Okay, Blanca does Disney. You guys talking about maybe some facts about? We were. I was actually curious. Where did the Mark Twain come from?
Well, the ship was actually, it came from two different places. They built the steel frame in Long Beach, I believe, in the harbor, and they built the woodwork, like the decks and like the structure at the studio in Burbank. They were both, sent here separately, and then they were assembled here. And I heard something at some point that they weren't even 100% sure it was going to fit properly.
Oh my God!
Until they got it here and put it together, and luckily for them, it fit perfectly.
Like a glove.
Like a glove.
Like a glove. So this is where Lillian and them swept the deck.
Lillian and Admiral Joe Fowler swept these decks nice and clean in anticipation of the guests arriving a moment before the guests arrive for their wedding anniversary.
And they celebrated it over there.
Yeah, after they disembarked from the Mark Twain, they went over there to the Golden Horseshoe and they had the rest of the party there. The Golden Horseshoe Review had its maiden performance there. Walt, it's famous that Walt was up there, having a great time. He was up on the second deck and he was doing the gunfight with Wally Bogue. And
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah,
There
so-
was another question I had about the Mark Twain, and it was, wasn't it like a replica or something
well,
like that?
it's just modeled after the classic, steamer ship. They used like most things in Disney, you utilize like different varying perspectives. They were very careful with the steam pipes. They had the two steam pipes. The detail is great on them, but they did have varying dimensions to make them fit in the park, fit along with the ship.
Oh.
So, but yeah, so it's basically it's based on like classic American steamboat.
I want to actually go see some sometime. So now this is on a track.
Yeah, this runs on a track along with the same track as the Columbia. The Columbia ship, a lot of people think that's a pirate ship.
I always thought it was.
I think they think that because it's used as such in Fantastic.
That's probably why.
You see, Pan and Hook fighting and everything. The Columbia sailing ship is actually, it's a replica of the first American ship to ever circumnavigate the globe.
Wow.
It opened here in 1958, so just a couple years after Tom Sawyer Island opened. And it's a little bit different in size. If you were to guess, which one is longer, the Mark Twain or the Columbia?
Mark Twain.
No.
What?
The Mark Twain is about 105 feet long, the Columbia is about 110 feet.
I would have never guessed that.
I wouldn't have
Ever.
guessed that either.
This ship
Never.
weighs about
Blanca,
150.
what about you? I would have never guessed that. I really.
Yeah?
Blanca is not convinced.
Yep, and this ship weighs about 150 tons.
So do I. What do you know?
And at this point, I don't know the exact number, but right now it's 2017, so doing the math, it had to have traveled roughly close to 300,000 miles by now.
What?
This ship, this steamer.
She's seen some days, but
Yeah,
she's
she's
held
given us
up
some good
pretty
trips.
nice. You have to say, Disneyland keeps everything pristine condition.
Yes, I mean,
Absolute.
it's gorgeous. A lot of people who know me and listen to my ramblings about Disneyland Paris, they have a ship out there called the Molly Brown.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they don't keep it up very well. There's cobwebs everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah, so like the ship in comparison is gorgeous, and yeah, it's really nice. While the rivers are currently down, it's nice for us to come and relax, and just basically get nice views of the park.
So, Keith, if they were trying to get a hold of you and find out more Disney facts or follow you, then what would they do? Where would they go?
Everything on my social media is at Disney Project. So it'd be awesome if they wanted to check that out. If they want to go to my website, that's where the comes in. It's thedisneyproject.com. But everything else is just at Disney.
At Disney Project.
Yes,
All
Twitter,
right.
Periscope, Instagram, all of the above.
Thank
do
you,
it.
Keith.
Well, thank you, Katie.
We love
Thank
you.
you, Brian. Love
What
you
a
guys.
great historian.
I love the Disney Bears.
Thank you, Keith.